Hey guys, welcome back to the Friday Vlog, where we discuss activity that goes on here with the BuzWeaver channel. That includes things like current events, headlines that are in the news, pop culture, social media, technology, and items of interest that come up during the week that allow us to have a little bit of a dialogue. If this is your first time here to the channel, I'd like to welcome you. If you are a returning visitor or a subscriber, I want to thank all of you guys for your continued support. In gaming news this week, I have released the first set of Let's Plays for Civilization 6 Frontier Pass as Teddy Roosevelt and the Rough Riders. You guys can check out that video up there in the top right-hand corner. Been a lot of fun, really enjoying it. Glad to be back playing Civilization 6. And of course, this week for all the console players, we will have the open beta for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And of course, we will be able to participate in the open beta next week for those of us here on PC, so I'm looking forward to that. But nonetheless, guys, be sure you check out those Let's Plays in Civ 6 up there in the top right-hand corner. On Wednesday of this week, we had the vice presidential candidate debate, and based upon the cursory look throughout the various social media outlets, legacy media, and general mainstream media, it would appear that Vice President Pence came out the winner. And I say that because you can always determine the mood of the mainstream media based upon things that they say. We already know that the mainstream media is actually running up against the president. Now, when I say that, I'm of course generalizing. I don't mean every single outlet, every single journalist. I'm simply trying to just give you a more contextual look at it. But nonetheless, I would say that the debate obviously went a lot smoother. It was very typical of a debate, which we have talked about last week with the tactics and the strategies that can be implemented and employed. Naturally, a good debate like we saw here is very rehearsed. The individuals are very on point. They have things already rehearsed out in their minds, what they want to talk about. They know the points, counterpoints that they're going to want it to discuss. And even though the moderators may not give out the questions to either of the campaigns, we can kind of know where it's going to go. We knew, for example, that they were going to be discussing the pandemic, the economy, the choice for Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett. We knew all these were going to be the center of the topic. But I have to say, what I thought was the most excellent was the letter or the essay from the young girl who said very much what we say here on the channel since we started, and that was that why is it that we're seeing such a level of negativity when it comes to the particular candidates, the particular parties? And so she's very astute, and I think that was a kind of a way to bridge all of this together, because we are in a rather divisive, very hyperbolic situation. You guys know we talk about this all the time. The back and forth, the daily point scoring on social media all day long. This little girl got it. I think it was a great segue. I think it complements a lot of the ideas and concepts that we talk about here, about how we can see that certain maneuvering is going on, of course. And things are getting kind of desperate for the Democrats when they have to bring out Michelle Obama. And her message was, vote as though your life depended on it. That's rather stark and sobering. And despite the fact that you're seeing all this polling, I think it's important that everyone understand we saw this sort of polling very similarly in 2016. And that is that when polling is being conducted, right, there are a series of particular questions. There are certain techniques that the pollsters use to get information from people, because they want people to be comfortable and give as accurate of information as they can. However, we're also seeing polling where individuals are not giving as accurate of information as they can, because they are concerned about the cancel culture. They are concerned about, hey, is Antifa going to show up in our neighborhood? How much of this information is going to be available? Will people be able to, kind of triangulate who we are? And then we run into problems with cancel culture. So the numbers themselves, as they say, as you see, right? The the statistics don't lie, but the people who do them may. And so we have to kind of look at that particular scenario in that, hey, you know, if the polling is that off, right? Because there's going to be plus and minuses in there. So I don't think the polls are going to be any more of an indicator for anybody to go on. These are usually done in a way to kind of just play that popular girl, popular guy in school kind of thing. If for example, you know, Joe Biden is out there showing that he's in the lead and so forth, and people are maybe undecided, they're not really sure. Hey, it looks like Joe Biden is in the lead. It looks like he's the popular guy, so man, maybe I vote for him. So it's kind of a strategy too. So just keep that in mind. And remember again, 2016, there was no way Trump was going to win. He didn't have the points. He didn't have the averages. He didn't have the swing states. You know, he didn't have this. He didn't have that. Essentially about the same thing we're seeing here, but more measured. You can see the media is very concerned. The Democrats are very concerned because this is a very different election, because there is a lot of enthusiasm and there is the the silent majority and the secret voters, as they say. So all that's kind of going on. But when it comes to the enthusiasm, when it comes to the people out there who are supporting the president, and people out there who have been helped, a lot of the endorsements that President Trump is getting from some of these blue states is rather interesting. But the mail-in ballots is starting to kind of fall apart for Democrats as well. We're seeing more and more issues with the ballots, because if you don't do the ballot process correctly, they're thrown out. So if you're getting Democrats out there who are just receiving these ballots for the first time and they don't do the envelope inside the envelope or the process correctly, sign correctly, mark correctly, do the processes that are necessary, they get thrown out. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because people are also using the ballots to vote for the president as well, as we've already seen some of the ones that were thrown out recently. Yes, some people say, hey man, it was only 8 votes, but votes are votes. And it can come down to very close decisions in certain states and certain areas. But nonetheless, as far as the debate itself, it was very typical with the maneuvering. I saw some information from the little opinion polls that were conducted while the little clickers that people use to kind of indicate whether they agree or disagree with what the particular candidates are saying. And some of those indicated that they weren't really happy with Kamala Harris. Like, she came across as a bit condescending, and her demeanor just came across as, look how rehearsed I am. She is a prosecutor, so she knows how to kind of play that, kind of play to the emotions of people. And Mike Pence, he's got his radio work too, so he kind of knows how to be, use some of that entertainment level type qualities as well. But for him, it was really about being calm. Kamala Harris really had a big sell. She is the very first female vice president to go and speak in a debate. So these things are kind of big deals. These are kind of first for Democrats in that area. So that kind of maybe gave them a little bit of an edge. But in the end, I think Mike Pence came across as very convincing. Again, we're talking about undecided voters and voters who may not be as politically active out there looking and seeing what's going on, as well as those who are concerned about the direction of the media, and they kind of want to make an informed decision by hearing what the candidates had to say. Yes, they did both duck out of certain questions. They didn't answer certain things. Some things they did, but I think Pence really kind of reined it in with some of the things that I was hoping President Trump would have done in addressing some of those particular issues. But nonetheless, guys, I'll leave links to those below this video. I wanted to make a quick channel mention that I have been taking NuLeaf full spectrum CBD oil, and I plan on doing a full review of the product. This is the 7th day that I have been taking it, and I have to say that I am very happy with the results. I think that my purchase was a well-placed one, as well as with the company. But I will probably get back to you guys on a review of NuLeaf full spectrum CBD oil. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Friday vlog. I want to thank all of you guys for the likes, the shares, and the comments, because your participation here on the channel is always appreciated. If you are following this on DTube, BitChute, and Parlay, I would ask you guys to give me a follow there as well. And if you are here on YouTube, that would be the channel icon appearing right there on the screen to subscribe. Now, to remind you, if you do select notifications, you will know when each video is uploaded. So if you like just returning and visiting the channel periodically, then maybe notifications may not be an option you want to pick. But nonetheless, guys, I will see you right there behind the camera next week.